Hello, and welcome to this very special bonus episode of the Book Wars Pod. I'm
We're
Chris.
doomed.
See, we were in a groove, and then I forgot that I'm supposed to pause after that for the sound drop.
I was so sure we were gonna have an air horn, but no.
I was waiting for. I was gonna start doing the air horn myself, but verbally.
That always works well.
No.
Welcome to another episode of the Shitpost Pod.
You've heard every member of our esteemed team, Kate, Rana, Kristen, and Miranda. I am Chris.
Famously.
Right, I was
Famously. Every esteemed member of our team, and me.
Famously, white men never talk on our pod.
True. I will just state for the record that I said nothing about bringing us in, and y'all were like, who wants to bring us in? And then if nobody wants to do it, we'll make Chris do it. So
Yeah,
Do it.
that's how we do it.
Great.
Oh, I missed you guys. This is. I shouldn't say
I
you guys.
just realized I'm
missed
not
you
even
all.
in the fucking
Yeah,
recording shit. I was. I don't know what happened.
I thought you knew that.
Yo, yourself straight out there. Like, I don't want to look at any of these people.
Oh, God damn it, Chris.
Sorry, I fixed it. It kicked me out. I don't know why.
Oh my god, we'll just cut that.
How did you not see that your face wasn't on the screen?
You're not
Because I wasn't
constantly
looking at the
staring
screen. I was looking at the
yourself?
outline.
Must be nice to not be a narcissist. Can't
What's
relate.
that like?
Anywho.
Anyway, today we are talking about Tales of the Jedi. This was the series of 6 animated shorts that came out last year. Fall, sometime.
I was like, last year, and I'm like, oh, it's January.
It is in fact
I think
January.
I saw that it came out in November. I didn't even know it came out until Kate said we were gonna talk about it, and I was like, "The fuck is that?"
Yeah.
But I think I saw it came out at
November?
the end of November or maybe
I-
end of October, one of the two.
I think
I'm
you're right.
looking.
I don't know. I was in an
Oh yeah, end of October.
abyss of dead brain, so
Huh.
couldn't tell you.
I was wrong. Maybe it was supposed to come out in August and got the. Who the fuck knows?
Good.
Or maybe I just completely made that up. Also reasonable. But before we get started, what are we all drinking?
Got green tea because I'm trying not to fall the fuck asleep.
I'm drinking mint tea. What?
I also
what
have green
brand
tea
is?
because I wasn't really feeling it tonight.
What brand was yours? Cedar Household.
This
From whom?
is Tea Spot, which is
Oh, that's
Boulder
cute.
area local. Yeah, no, I can't remember. Chris, do you remember what exactly they call their green tea? Because it's something cute. I can't remember what it is.
It's something related to Boulder. I'll look it up.
It's like it's called Boulder Blues.
I think you're right.
Oh,
I think they put some blue coneflower or something in there. Anyway,
that's so cute.
they're adorable.
Mine is Stash Peppermint, but Stash
Mm.
is local, even though it's everywhere also. Miranda, you're drinking beer. What are you drinking?
I have what's left of an export lager by Freem. Our friends, Freem Brewers Brewing. Let me Freem. Surgeon General, don't drink if you're pregnant. I don't know what their official business title is, but it's Freem. They're in Hood River. They have good beer.
Great.
I'm
Just
very
gonna dive in
tired.
here.
I will not be having another beer after I finish this.
It's your nap time.
Just gonna dive in here and say that Kate was right. It is Boulder Blues from the Tea Spot.
Oh, wait, say
Love
I'm right
that.
again. It's so good to hear.
I said I thought you were right in the first place.
Rana, what are you drinking? That looks tasty. It is. This is so I keep wanting to call it, this is gonna make me sound like such an asshole. It's called Sour Rita. It's a beer by Crooked Stave. However, because I had my trip to Norway right before my life went to shit, they have these old not 800-year-old wooden churches called stavas, spelled the same way. So I keep saying it's a crooked stava, but it's not a stava because that's not a thing. It's a Crooked Stave. I've never heard of that brewery before. It's a sour ale brewed with lime, salt, and orange zest. It has a super cute, like, deserty vibe. can. Not that much to say. It tells you to pack it in and enjoy it on a mountain and pack out. So, like normal, I did not follow instructions. It is 4.5% alcohol and has really cute desert designs. Also, you can tell that they just use their normal, like, rosé beer can and then they just put the sticker over it, even though it's not a rosé beer. You can.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
But I'm all for not
Incredible.
wasting, so good for them.
They sure did pack in and pack out.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I love Cricket Safe because I'm basic and I love their
They have good sours.
rosé sour. Yeah, they have really
Yeah.
good sours.
Yeah, the
I've
rosé
taken a
sour is
rosé
really good.
sour hiking before, not knowing that was an instruction. So
Well, there you go.
this is honestly delicious.
Well, maybe
It'd be
it's not
really
the
good in the
instruction on the
summer.
rosé sour. Maybe that one's supposed to be savored on a
Sure,
on
it's
a
for
patio.
basic bitches who stay home.
Exactly.
Me, as I said.
Oh, nice.
Christ.
Keeks, where's your tea from?
She just fucking said.
Did
I
she?
said
I
it.
missed it.
Stash. You weren't paying
There's a
attention.
quiz.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
It's okay.
Good
You were
talk.
looking up. You were looking up to tell Kate she was right. It's fine.
I was. It's true. It's critical task.
Pod sponsored activity.
All right. Well, before we dive in, a reminder / note that for this bonus episode, we are still highlighting the #BooksSaveLives campaign at We Need Diverse Books, which you can find at diversebooks.org/programs/books-save-lives. And the campaign employs a 3-pronged strategy to directly address book bans and champion diverse titles. They raise awareness, provide resources, and create positive change, all while supporting the educators, authors, and children most affected by the bans. So, if you have the ability to do so, we encourage you to support the Book Save Lives campaign.
Wow.
Thank you, Burb. That was lovely.
I'm here to add value to this podcast.
Oh, always. Should we talk about like child abuse? That was this entire series of things. It's just pure in the Star Wars tradition, just pure fucking child abuse. All right, so
wasn't this supposed to be for children?
Who do you think's getting abused in child abuse? It's like so relevant for children.
Oh god, fuck J.K. Rowling. But I mean, we all read Harry Potter, and like looking back at it as an adult, I was like, that whole just child abuse all over the place. I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Child abuse and like racism and anti-Semitism all over the fucking place. She just vomited bad things. Anyway, okay, so this is not, unfortunately, Dunk on J.K. Rowling pod. That's for another time.
It's not, everything is junk on.
Yo, but did you guys see
I've
that
had
they had
one
to
sip
shut
of
off?
beer. Well done.
Did you guys see, though, that they had to shut off early reviews on Steam for the fucking Harry Potter game because it was getting review bombed by trans rights activists?
Good. Good. Fuckers. All right.
How do we not have a sound drop of that?
Oh,
Never
of
mind.
What?
Never mind. Don't listen to me. I have
Of
problems.
what she says. All right. Anyway. When and where are we?
We're in the
Who would
Clone
like to
Wars.
answer?
We are before and during and after the Clone Wars,
Yes. But
as
very
as
cute.
as often happens with our boy Dave.
Good old buddy Dave.
Yes. Yeah, so we've got does that no. Yeah, the first Dooku one it's already in the Clone Wars, right?
No, the first Dooku one's well before the Clone Wars. It's
I can do math.
Qui-Gon as a Padawan. Yeah.
I can do math. I'm so good at math. I'm not good at yeah, right, because Phantom Menace happened. Holy fucking shit. Wow. All right.
And Attack of the Clones. You skipped over Miranda's entire gay awakening.
I know. Kristen and I are fucking fired. We're doing good. So there's that. Ahsoka obviously takes place before the Clone Wars because she's not yet Anakin's sidekick or whatever the fuck.
She's
Georgia.
literally an infant.
She is literally an infant.
It's a babby.
It's true.
A whole babby.
But yeah, no, we go right up to Order 66 and probably like, I don't know, a year-ish after. It's just, like we said, good fun times for everyone. Chris, did you write the Who Is This For question?
Yes, I did. And I don't always love asking this question when it comes to Star Wars because it gets very contentious because, like, you have the old guard fans who get really mad that shit is not for them anymore, even though they're not 10 years old anymore, and so they have different reactions to things. But like,
It's good stuff from white people. Go
one thing that like struck me when I was watching it is that like, and I say this a little bit below, but like for me it was just kind of fine, and so like which is fine. Everything in Star Wars doesn't need to be for me to that aspect. So I'm
White
wanted
people
to have a
shit.
discussion about who is this for? Like, what do we think was the intended audience for this, or was there even one?
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
Really
I
quick,
just-
sorry. I literally wrote "Who is this for" in the outline because I was trying to get at that. Like, is this a children's show? I
Oh.
wanted someone to answer that question, but also,
I also
there-
want someone to answer that question.
did you
So-
just
Yes.
Chris's question? We're all fired.
Yeah,
My
shit.
know.
Sorry,
take
Keeks.
on this is
Oh,
that
it's fine. I put it on there because I wanted people to fill in stuff underneath and like thought it would spawn discussion, which it did. Producing, it happens here.
I feel like Disney is
Something
really
happens here.
enjoying this like time period between
Mhm.
like Clone Wars, after Revenge of the Sith, like that sort of. I guess I'm also totally making up. I have no idea what timeline the Ahsoka show is going to be in because obviously we know Rosario Dawson and her transphobia. I haven't paid that much attention to it, but I assumed for some reason that it would be like 5 or 10 years after where this left off, maybe overlapping, but it just seems like they're doing a lot of content. Like Bad Batch season 2 comes out soon, and so I don't know, I feel like they're doing a lot in this timeline right now, but maybe I'm making that up to make things make sense to my brain.
I mean, you say Disney seems to like this period. I think Dave likes this period.
I was
Yes,
gonna say,
Dave likes this period, that's correct.
I was gonna say, when you have motherfucking Dave Filoni running all of the Disney Plus for quote unquote television projects, he's gonna have a Dave time, and so he's just here just being like, slap Ahsoka all over the place, just like put Ahsoka on all the things. This is the Ahsoka extended universe. Like, this is basically what's happening here. I believe the live action Ahsoka show is taking place, maybe a little bit before, but like right after the epilogue for Rebels. So
We don't know when that was though.
yes, well, it wasn't during the Clone Wars.
Yes.
My point.
Okay. Sorry.
I'm not getting the time of Clone Wars timeline completely wrong. Am
No.
I?
No. You're correct. I misunderstood what you were saying.
Yeah. So yeah, no. But like, we're just. I was really struggling to not just like bust out laughing while you were doing the intro, because I saw that you had written underneath, who is the show for? Number 1, Dave.
I mean, honestly, like, and I say this with, I don't hate Dave Filoni as Dave Filoni is very polarizing. You either love him or you hate him, and neither. I think that he is not correctly rated by most of the fandom. He is either overrated or underrated. Like, he's fine. He's got some bangers. He's got some shit. Like, he is largely responsible for the survival of Star Wars between the end of the prequel trilogy and the Disney sale. He also really likes to see his ideas on screen in their purest form.
He has a
I mean-
hat.
Yeah, he famously he has a hat.
That's where
Likes wolves.
That's where Ahsoka lives.
So like, I don't know, like, part of me just really thinks that this was just a passion project for him, which, okay,
What isn't a passion project for him at this fucking point? Like,
tell you what isn't Star Wars Resistance.
I was gonna say, he gave that to Athena Portillo, like, correct me if I'm wrong, and then he whacked it after 2 seasons, and she ain't done nothing since. And I'm like, can we give this girl like something interesting to do? Like, fuck me.
She's producing Bad Batch.
Okay, fair enough, but like, still, like, it's not her. It's still not her project. It's Dave's fucking project.
That's true. I don't believe that she is involved with the creative.
That's
for
what
it,
I'm saying.
for the most part.
Like, yeah, I mean, like, at this point, like, who the fuck is involved with the fucking creative besides Filoni and Favreau sometimes?
Dave's
Was that
project
was that an
is
actual
the
question?
friends we made along the way.
Ish.
I mean, there's Filoni's people who are in charge of Bad Batch. There's Jennifer Corbett, who's the head writer. There's Brad Rao, who's the showrunner. And like, and I, we talked about Bad Batch several episodes ago, and I like Bad Batch, more than I expected to, frankly. So no disrespect to them, but yeah, I mean, Dave has his wing of Star Wars that he has carved out for himself, and his domain is not touched. Like anything with Ahsoka, they have to go through him, which is fine. It's not great. It's not awful. It's better in animation than it is in live action.
It's not fine. We'll get to this. It's not fine though, because does everything have to go through Dave? Yes. And then sometimes he decides, well, it went through me, but I didn't make it, so I'm gonna pretend it doesn't exist. So
Yeah, that was so weird.
Also, it definitely just, I think, kind of stunts storytelling at times if everything has to go through him. Like, I think that's true of all storytelling when it only goes through one vessel. But, at some point, I do think it hinders the creativity of the show. Well, all the shows and the content.
Oh, absolutely. Especially because
we've never seen
Star
that
Wars has
problem in Star Wars before.
Never.
Especially because Star Wars has a fucking diversity problem. So, it's just like.
Everything was really good when it had to pass through Shmord Shmookas.
Slower and with your mouth open. Good. The other thing about this is like I don't necessarily know that if you haven't watched the Clone Wars, I don't know that you get literally half of Tales of the Jedi. Because,
completely agree.
Because half of it is about Ahsoka, and like I love. I mean, the Ahsoka bits are basically just like Clone Wars missing scenes. So if you've never watched this and you don't know what this is, you're showing up and you're just like, "Hi, a baby."
Yeah,
I
feel
think
like
that's a great point.
It's the equivalent of like starting the Clone Wars show without having seen the movie. Because I did that and I was so fucking confused. Just like, here's this baby. Because I had a baby too.
Yes, correct. Also, or just starting Clone Wars because that bitch was out of order.
Also,
yeah. I feel like I have seen Clone Wars, but it's something that I've never paid any attention to. I remember like what happens in the last season because that's so much more recent. But it's something that I like. Even the first time, the only time honestly I've ever seen it was like having it on in the background, like while cleaning, was like the only way I could get into it. And then I wouldn't really call that getting into it. So I will say like I didn't feel like I had lost anything by having a very fuzzy recollection of Clone Wars. Like I know eventually I need to go back and rewatch it, but I just don't. But I can imagine like there are probably great things that I did not really notice because I was like, I saw Clone Wars like 7 years ago in the background while I cleaned my room. So
I mean it's also hard to get into.
Yeah, and also, I think a lot of what we know about Ahsoka, like she makes those appearances in whatever Mando or bullshit, but like it's Clone Wars and this YA book, which again it looks like we won't get into, and like Dooku, it's like the movie and the audio drama, and like we as people, I don't know about you, Rana, because we did the audio drama a long time ago, but like I feel like we're gonna be more familiar with it than your average person who's like on Disney Plus, like, oh look, a Star Wars, let's watch it.
oh yeah, 100%.
Kate, what were you gonna say?
To be fair, I was just gonna say, to be fair, the Clone Wars is also hard to get into because it's not fucking good for 2.5 goddamn seasons.
That's
so
really true.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. I thought
it's
I was biased.
Straight not good for 2.5 seasons. So Kristen is holding a light up porg, which is delightful.
It's a lamp.
An adorable lamp. So all right, who?
I actually have a quick question with regards to this
What?
Clone Wars section of the conversation. Do you think this is a good entry point into Ahsoka for people who only know her from Mando?
Fuck no.
No.
Okay.
Fuck no.
I just
don't know if
don't think
anyone
there's like enough of her in this for it to be a good entry point.
It's
Yeah,
it's
you don't
very
get enough
Dooku heavy.
information on her personality.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Burb, go ahead.
It's very. I felt like this was very Dooku heavy. But I think that's because all of his episodes were like in a row.
Yeah.
Ish.
Also, yes, and like, I don't know. I think like to Rana's point that we don't really find out a lot of new information about Ahsoka, and we'll talk. We'll also talk about this a little later in the episode. But yeah, I do feel like we learn quite a bit about Dooku and his journey, and also like how the Jedi got to the point they just let Sidious run around screeching and being a vampire like absolutely unimpeded for years. So I do think we get more just on the surface, at least, like just like good lore information or what have you about
Yeah.
things.
Again,
But
I
no,
feel like anything. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say it's a terrible introduction to Ahsoka, because you're like, what the fuck is happening? There's a giant saber-toothed saber-toothed space tiger, and anyway, Burb.
Yeah, like that whole episode, it's very much like, oh, it's Ahsoka as a baby. Like it's you have to know who Ahsoka is to appreciate anything. Like you have to. Again, we will get into it, I'm sure, but like you have to know about what she did after the, Order 66 and when she was in hiding, and it's just
So
like what is this?
not to give Dave Filoni even more airtime here, but like I feel like everything he creates is stuff where you have to be he just assumes people are as plugged into the canon as he is. Like
Yeah.
even in terms of like Book of Boba, like every time they're like these little things that it's kind of like we won't give you a lot of information. We'll just assume, and if you don't know, someone on the internet will tell you what episodes to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just feel like he always assumes that all fans have the same level, and then you see people on Twitter being like, "Who the fuck is this? I don't know what's happening. Why is this thing happening?" Yeah, I don't know that it's the most accurate assumption, but it just seems like a trend in all of the recent stuff.
And
I
like reflects back to what you said earlier. Well, whoever made the point earlier about like Rana being a hardcore Star Wars fan and still being like, I don't know, the Clone Wars, whatever. like I am a huge Clone Wars fan, and I'm always like, Chris, can you explain that to me? I don't understand what happened. I know it's like a reference to something I'm supposed to know, and I do that every single time anything is like on.
Kate, were you gonna?
Oh no, I was just Filoni just like runs on fan service at this point, just like the adoration of people being like the Leo DiCaprio meme where he's just pointing at the TV. Like I just like that's what it is. That's just what he does. That's which as we've discussed when we've been discussing just like the various shows that he's been helping to create and run and produce, like it leads to clunky ass storytelling, which is why it was so like we were talking about the Obi-Wan show and how Deb Chow had fan service in there, but it was like so smoothly integrated because it wasn't just like jumping up and down, waving its arms, being like, "Look, I'm a reference." So
I would argue that he doesn't do fan service. He does Dave service.
bro,
Like
that's so true.
Favreau does fan service. Like Favreau works in like, remember this toy you used to have? Here it is in live action. But like, and like,
fucking weirdo.
you know, and he has his own very specific group of fans that he really caters to. Not that those are the only people who like his stuff, like, but that is how he sees himself, and that is how he puts stuff in there. I don't feel like Dave gives a shit what the fans want. And I feel like, you know, and this is and that's good and bad, because it's good because you shouldn't care about what fans want, in my opinion, if you're a creative person. Like, you should tell your story and tell it as well as you can, and the fans will like it or they won't, and everyone moves on. And I think the best creative stories are told like that. But it's also, he's so empowered to control his own universe that it does get very self-referential. So it does get very like, Dave really likes this absolute like tiny cameo by a character you've never seen before, and suddenly they're there again. Like,
See, Dave likes to cater to Dave fans. Like that's his entire universe. He's like, if you get it, you get it. And if you don't, fuck you. So, shall we move on from talking about the Hat Man?
I'm just not convinced Dave actually knows what the fans care about.
Of course he doesn't.
I don't think Dave's ever been online in his life.
Otherwise, he wouldn't have put the Mortis gods in
He
Rebels.
definitely has a burner. There's no way he doesn't have a burner. Just for like the satisfaction of seeing one person get it.
You know what?
that's
I feel
okay.
like he has one intern whose entire job it is to look at social media and show him the posts that are just
Oh
like,
yeah,
Dave
and like
is
print
genius.
it out for
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
Mhm.
Like Larry King style Twitter.
Oh my god. Dave reads Dave tweets. Other people this is for trauma gluttons, who's me, and thanks Rana for people who like child abuse, also me.
Sorry, Kate. I mean, am I wrong?
You're not, but it's funny because you're not. All right, do I want to like dive into the Ahsoka episodes a little bit more?
I have one note on the Ahsoka episodes, which I find it extremely hilarious that for this series they chose to put them in chronological order, even though that breaks up Ahsoka's part into like one episode at the beginning and two at the end.
This is what I mean. Dave is fucking with us. Dave is absolutely fucking with us.
Yeah, that one I absolutely believe Dave is fucking with us, 100%.
Fucking dickhead. He's absolutely fucking with us.
Star Wars is famously not huge on, chronological order.
It's true. Fuck. It's accurate. I will say the most shocking thing about the Ahsoka episodes is that he didn't find a way to just shoehorn Plo Koon into there.
Yo, truly.
Because he loves Silent Jedi so much. God fucking damn it. Hang on. I'm like, what is happening in the notes in this first part? Burp.
That was me. Sorry.
Okay.
I had the follow up,
Yes.
but Rana has a great point.
So I'm watching this episode and I'm like, I'm always here for like any type of fake culture in Star Wars. Like, I mean, not all the fake cultures, sometimes it's real racist, but I'm like, oh, okay, like, oh, look, they have coming of age things or like introducing her to her culture. Oh, I
Coming of
like
age,
that
she's
they
a
thank
baby.
the animal. Yeah, but I mean, like, like, okay, she's old enough to go out with her mom, like, to learn about the world, right? Like, she's not gonna protect herself, but it's like babies gotta learn. If you're not, you're gonna die. Or you're gonna learn. And I liked that. I was like, oh look, she thanks the animal before she kills it. This is so good. And then she hears the tiger, and her baby is just like sitting there in a field. She doesn't think like, oh, my baby's staring at something. And now maybe I was thinking when the mom's like flipping all around, I'm like, maybe that's why she couldn't have the baby tied to her because she's like rolling on the ground. She doesn't want to crush it. But I don't know. It just seems like a weird choice. Like at least hide it under like the dead body of the animal or something. Like, I don't know. Just leaving a baby in a field as this like giant thing is coming. It was weird. And then of course, oh no, who could have predicted? The tiger sees the baby. Like it just. It was a strange choice to me.
Her coming of age was actually just being bait for her mom's hunting.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, her coming of age was
it turns
getting
out her
stolen.
species has a lot of kids.
She got stolen by the tiger.
Which
The
I mean
Tano
was cool.
parents
I
are
thought
big.
they were. Sorry.
No, go.
I thought they were going with like a Romulus and Remus, like, okay, now she's gonna be raised by this tiger for a year before the Jedi find her or something. But and actually, I will say good on Star Wars for not just killing everyone related to her. I appreciated
Shocker.
that at least.
Yeah,
I
Didn't know they could do
absolutely
that.
thought her mother was going to die.
Yeah, she's not allowed to have a mom. She's a character in Star Wars.
All I was going to say is that the Tano family are big proponents of free range parenting. Does anybody remember that like fucking bizarre like backlash against helicopter parents where there was these fucking hippies who were like, we're free range parents? And I'm like, no, that's just called fucking parenting.
Yeah, free range is for chickens.
That's for eggs.
I know, right?
Wow.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I just remember reading back when we lived in DC this fucking WAPO like story about this couple in Maryland who got like fucking charged with child abuse for letting their kids walk home from the park alone.
My mom and I were just talking about this when I was at home because when I would go live at my grandparents sometimes, they would literally just let us all like go off into the woods. They would put plastic bags around our feet if it was winter, like around our shoes, so we would have waterproof shoes because it was snowy. And then we would go off into the woods and sometimes we'd come back for hot chocolate and soup for lunch and then sometimes we wouldn't. And then we just come back eventually and like nowadays if you do that you go to like you're getting your kids taken away.
I've
Yeah,
But
definitely
it
walked
was
into the
honestly
woods
good
in
for
my
us.
youth.
It was fun. This is
I
why
was-
Kate is afraid of trees.
Yes. No, honestly, my grandpa was definitely one of those people who was like, it was summer vacation. He's like, I don't want to deal with you. Lock me out of the house until dinner time. Like, go play with the neighbor kids or, run in the street. I don't give a shit. Like, just don't talk to me. Which, like, he was real old, and as I get older, I really do get it. Also, just a side note for Keeks was texting me earlier today while she was watching these, and just being like, just her dad being super dad, and I'm like, yes, it's just adorable.
Oh, see, I was irritated by that. I was like, don't tell the mom that she can't take the baby out. Ooh, sexism.
Like, she shouldn't have
I
taken
don't
the
even know
baby
if
out.
like
He wasn't
they
wrong.
use a binary for genders on this, and I'm like, no, you're sexist. You can't say that to the mom. Maybe
Oh,
I
I-
need to go do more therapy.
Don't we all? Don't we all? No, I meant more like towards the beginning when she's born. He's just like running around telling neighbors, and it's like
Oh yeah, that was
4
really
in
cute.
the morning. and and the
Like,
village
see
elder is just like, there he goes again, just screaming at 4 in the morning, which is fucking amazing. All right, Chris, you want to complain? Go.
It's
You want to complain? Go.
oh Jesus. It's less a complaint. It's more like
Complain.
I don't think these stories added anything to her character that we didn't already know. And so like that's like what I'm always asking with any new Star Wars, like what does this add? Like what does this add to the canon outside of being like a fun little anecdote?
We didn't know
And
she knew
more
how to
so-
ride a tiger.
That's true.
Can I ask a? Sorry, go ahead, Kate.
Oh, I was gonna say the answer is more Ahsoka content for Dave, but go ahead, Rana.
Did we have like? Because again, I haven't read as many books as you all have. How much understanding of? I don't even know how to say it. Togruta.
Mhm.
Culture did we have? Like, because sometimes I will say one thing I've liked about the new stuff of the last couple years is that like they at least acknowledge that people come from different cultures and planets, and I don't know. I always like culture building in Star Wars. Sometimes it's done in annoying ways, and other times I'm like, I just feel like it adds a lot of depth for me because then when I eventually force myself, like I said earlier, to rewatch Clone Wars, I'm now going to have that in my head and I'm going to be like, oh, how did the way that she learned these values growing up like influence her choices? I know a lot of people, white people, don't care about that. But to me, I felt that was the one thing I thought it added was like any sort of introduction to a culture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. We have next to nothing about Togruta culture. Besides the Clone Wars episodes where they were trying to enslave them because Star Wars. So
Right.
yeah, no. I'll pick up on this in a second, but Burb, I think you wanted to say something.
Oh yeah, no, it's just, and I think it's part of like we have so little Togruta culture, so that we got anything in this was good, especially because I super thought that the first episode was gonna end with the Jedi stealing her from her family. So yay. At least we didn't have to get traumatized by that, even though she sure did.
It was it's definitely interesting that like there are a lot of like cultures that seem to have an antagonistic relationship with the Jedi because they are kind of baby snatching, but it was interesting to see one that was just like, no, this is fine. Go do your laser sword thing.
She is Jedi.
Yes. What I was gonna say, like Chris, and like towards your point of like what do we get out of this? And also towards Ron's point, I feel like what we get out of this is less about Ahsoka and more about what's surrounding Ahsoka. So yes, learning about Sheely and her people. Yes, to learning more about Anakin and his methods as a teacher. Fuck. And more about like what the early rebellion was like and like what it was like basically trying to like Bail like putting this together in the aftermath of Padme's death because they had been working like during the like before the end of the Clone Wars really closely on what if Palpatine just decides to take unilaterally take power. Him just kind of like picking up the pieces for a lot of reasons, but also like kind of in honor of his dead friend. I think those are the things that we get, as opposed to what do we. It's not so much for me what do we learn about Ahsoka, but what do we learn about Star Wars?
That's fair. I accept that. Also, Anakin and his fucking teaching method. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a blaster.
That's my favorite one. First of all, because
No, it's mine too, obviously, but
Aw, they're married.
ew. No, I mean, they're married. It's my favorite because I think child abuse is funny because there's something wrong with me, and it's Chris's favorite.
We know what it is that's wrong with you, Kate. Not to put you on blast, but like that sentence alone tells us a lot.
Great. Just gonna keel over. And Chris is a fan of feral raccoons, so match made in heaven.
indeed.
I mean, that is my favorite one though, because I think child abuse is funny, and then you get to the end and you're like, oh, that's the most fucked up thing I've ever seen you put together, David. So
I don't know if something is wrong with me. I didn't think it was that fucked up. I guess something is like maybe I have problems, but like I was like, oh, okay, this is cute. Like
It made I thought it made sense. Like it was still a little fucked. I thought it's like Anakin. Like you want to make her the best, and like yeah, that training seems really stupid.
For me, the fucked upness comes from the fact that she probably got about 12 concussions.
Yeah, I was wondering. It was like the first time she woke up, I was like, is she
an hour? Like your brain's done. You need to see someone now.
Is she gonna be sore from all of this?
What we actually learned about Togrutas is that they have very hard heads.
Maybe they have a defense mechanism where they just pass out at the slightest sign of like brain trauma, and then it's not as bad as in humans, where if you're knocked out for more than like a minute or two,
maybe
you need to go to the hospital.
They're just fainting goats.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god,
Fainting Togrutas.
You're upsetting. Oh my god. La la la. One thing I will also say, because I said we would talk about this. The thing that annoyed me about the Ahsoka bits is that last episode where it basically is a loose retelling of the Ahsoka novel by E.K. Johnston, and also it's not, because he just decided, oh look, you wrote this book. Fuck you. I'm just gonna do whatever and also get rid of black people and lesbians and replace them with white people who are boring.
Yeah, was that supposed to be like the other lesbian child?
Mm-hmm.
I was very confused by that. I was like, oh, gay. Look,
Yeah.
Stand-in of white people.
Yeah, it was just, and this is like kind of what I was alluding to earlier when I was like, Dave likes to see his artistic vision on screen, like purely his vision, because like the Ahsoka story is like E.K. Johnston got that from Dave, like, and she's talked about that and like collaborating, or not collaborating, but working with him on like building out some of that story and those aspects for the Ahsoka book. It was just bizarrely needless to like, because like nothing was changed except for the character, and it's just like Dave clearly had a vision in his head of one thing, and he was unable to get his head around it. And he was like, I want to tell this story because, the book came out a while ago and a lot of people haven't read it, and I think this is an important formative story for Ahsoka. Fine. I don't love book to screen adaptations. I feel like I've talked about in the past, but fine, whatever. It's a choice. But like, just the inability, just like, and this is where I think, we've talked about how somebody needs to learn to say no. Like, this to me is somewhere where it's like, hey, why are we doing this? Or like, not even say no, but ask why we're doing this. Like,
In this manner.
Yeah, no, sorry. By doing this, I mean replacing the Larte sisters with like boring white people. And like, it was just bizarrely needless. Like, it's like those like cheap knockoffs where like they don't have the rights to something, and so they're like trying to get really close to it without actually copying it. Like it felt like that at times. It's like it was just I don't know. It was a very weird experience to watch for sure.
He was like, "Fuck lesbians, I need hillbillies." That's what happened there. It's very strange.
That's the white people way.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, I mean, he's done this before. He did it. He did it in season 7 of the Clone Wars, her confrontation with Maul. He did it at the first scene of the first season of Bad Batch, where he just changed how Kanan came to witnesses like Deba like being killed by the clones and stuff like that. Which is, listen, everyone has a Kanan stand because I have problems and whatever. But like, I don't know. It's just like such like a really intense moment in the comics, and it's just like really, I think, well captured in comic form. And he was just like, no, also I'm gonna make Kanan look really fucking white.
Yeah, I mean, and White Kanan is with this Ahsoka stuff a pattern of behavior and completely indefensible. The changes in between the comics and the on-screen media, and this is also something we've talked about in the past, those don't bother me quite as much, only because like from a storytelling perspective, like to me it's almost like these are stories being told from two different perspectives, and like one of them is like a memory from Ahsoka of remembering her fight with Maul, and like, or a memory from Kanan and remembering Order 66, and those are very traumatic, and so like the brain does weird things. They don't necessarily remember things,
Chris,
but it does.
please leave my other husband alone.
So from like a in-universe perspective, those never bothered me because it makes perfect sense to me that those two accounts of the same events can exist, simultaneously. But I mean, yeah, from a overruling stories that have been written in the past, it is extremely frustrating.
Wait, your memory doesn't turn black people white?
Yeah, like that's a really traumatic thing if that's how it turns your memories.
Is it traumatic or is it just racist?
The second one.
All right.
Yeah, I haven't seen Kate Johnston comment on this because she's been off Twitter for a bit. But
also,
good for her.
Yeah,
I would imagine
honestly.
that she's probably limited in what she can say.
Yes,
because she's
exactly.
Oh,
actively
I'm
writing more Star
sure.
Wars books.
Absolutely.
Shall we talk about Dooku? Any last words on Ahsoka? I love you so much. So yeah, my biggest takeaway from this is that the Jedi Council sucks, and it has sucked, and they just fucking suck. So that's my 2 cents.
So Dooku was like hanging out as part of the Jedi Order for like a lot longer than I thought. They were in like the Clone Wars, and he was still doing Jedi shit.
Yeah, I was shocked by this.
So, Chris, explain the pinkiness of the timeline.
Yeah, so this is another one where the timeline is a little weird but not broken. Like it is, like it's not contradictory like it is in Ahsoka for example, or in like the Kanan comics and the examples that Kate gave. Like, because the way I interpret it, which is I think has been alluded to by background materials and whatnot, is that the third episode, which is when he's like killing Yaddle and whatnot, is, I just said whatnot like 5 times in the same sentence. What the fuck?
What not the fuck?
I believe the implication there is that he is not in the Jedi Order anymore. He has already left to be Count of Sereno, but he is still friendly with people. Like he is still, comes to say hi, to check in on what's going on, see
I don't
Qui-Gon.
think you're allowed to do that.
Why not?
What? Like why would they he's like, I'm gonna actually go and abandon everything that I know about the Jedi Order and go rule my planet and have a shady friend and also break into the fucking archives to delete whole planets.
See this? Okay, so I disagree with you, and here's why.
And here's why.
Because the whole Dooku's entire character arc in this, in Jedi Lost, in the Clone Wars, everything, it reeks of being part of the club. Like, there were warning signs that Dooku had issues dating back to being a child. And the Jedi Council at no point had an issue with it because Yoda saw talent in him and decided to train him personally.
Fucking Yoda.
Because then he, was incredibly talented and very strong with the Force, and made friends with the right people, and was friends with Mace Windu, who decided to just be like, oh, it's not really an issue that Dooku's getting vengeful on this mission, who obviously stayed close with Yoda, was highly respected by the people in power. And so everybody chose to look the other way because he was part of the club. And it's like kind of the opposite of Anakin, right? Like, Anakin was never part of the club. He was always the outsider, from being too old to being potentially too powerful and everybody being wary of him, to being young and reckless. Like, and he never got the chances that Dooku got from Mace Windu and Yoda, for example. And so to me, it makes perfect sense that they would let Dooku come and go as he wanted to, because they're like, yeah, he's Dooku. He's our buddy. Like, we want to see him again. And, he can do no wrong because he has done no wrong, because we've never let ourselves see that he has ever done wrong. And so, like, that to me just like reeked of old boys club. Like, they'll bend the rules if they like you.
So this is more an observation than anything, but you saying that he's like kind of the opposite of Anakin. The result is the same though, essentially.
Yeah, it's funnily enough either extreme. The Jedi Council method in the prequel era is bad.
Neat. just honestly, just fucking Yoda things.
The Jedi Council continues to only do good.
Yeah, and they've chosen, like with Anakin, they chose not to nurture him. Everything Anakin achieved was in spite of the institution of the Jedi. And with Dooku, they chose not to nurture his positive aspects and turn him away from his more neutral and negative aspects. And this is something that I think we really have started to see and will see much more of as we read the High Republic. Is in the High Republic, they're much more nurturing of all your differences as long as you are doing the right thing. And the right thing is essentially not falling victim to your dark impulses. And it's the opposite in the prequel era, where it's gotten much more like political and interpersonal of what you can get away with.
I mean, we saw that in Into the Dark, where Cormac was just like doing whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that they let the concept of a Wayseeker even exists, which does not in the Skywalker era.
No, I thought that was neat. Yeah, for sure.
Like, think of Dooku as like, I feel like Yoda's like, oh, he's just going to be a Wayseeker because he chose to ignore all the warning signs about Dooku. And, he would have never let Anakin go be a Wayseeker. He would have, if Anakin had left the Jedi Order, he would have been shot if he tried to approach that building. Like if Anakin had chosen to be public about marrying Padme, like, there would not have been a discussion. He would have been kicked out.
I don't know, man. They were real. Everybody knew about that. That was the worst. It was the worst
Obi-Wan
kept
did.
Ahsoka
secret since
did.
in the
Right.
future. Darth Vader is Anakin Skywalker. Like, Anakin is not a subtle man.
But nobody
He's a
outside of Anakin's immediate family knew. Like, counting Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, Rex as his family for all intents and purposes. Yoda didn't know. Mace Windu didn't know. The Council, again, outside of Obi-Wan, didn't know.
Yoda's out here fucking meditating in a broom closet for 48 hours a day.
Well, exactly, because they chose not to take an interest in Anakin's personal life.
I also don't want to take an interest in Anakin's personal life.
I don't either, but I don't think the Jedi Council can do like a don't ask, don't tell situation on the fucking chosen one and not expect it to turn out poorly.
Well, we all know famously it turned out great.
Yeah.
And famously, the council makes amazing decisions about
Only
everything.
good choices.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, that was just my point to contrast, the much more accepting, as long as you're moving in the right direction, approach of the High Republic versus the much more rigid if you're not one of their favorites. It really reminds me of an old job I had, honestly, where like
Huh.
you can get away with anything and you can go any direction you want in the company if you make friends with the right people. It's very corporate.
So, if they love Dooku so much, Qui-Gon was his Padawan, turned out entirely unorthodox. Why did they hate him?
I don't know that anybody outside of Yoda did hate him.
He
I would
wasn't he on
argue.
the council?
He would have been if he weren't
Dead?
No,
yes!
he turned it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was offered a spot on the council in Master and Apprentice by Claudia Gray, and he like kind of alluded to the fact that he and Yoda didn't get along, and I think there's various reasons for that could have been the case, but I don't think that he was widely disliked. I think that was specifically a Yoda thing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because Yoda's got a stick up his butt.
Great, thanks.
A dig of a stick.
Oh. Just the swamp stick.
All right, this is actually an excellent segue to my next point,
Frog's butt.
and then I'll shut up because I've been talking for a really long time. My favorite part of all these shorts is the confirmation that Yoda is just a weird little fuck who speaks in riddles for no reason. Yaddle talks completely normal.
Yaddle is voiced by Bryce Dallas Howard.
Also
'Cause-
wild.
Yeah, now don't get me wrong, I want there to be more women directors, and I like that Bryce Dallas Howard has had a chance to be very involved in Star Wars. However, what is the hold that she has over Lucasfilms that she's voicing Yaddle? Like, I don't know, it just seems
Dad.
kind of weird. I'm like going through the IMDb of like who each voice actor is, because I'm always like, that person sounds familiar. And so many of them are voice actors who have been in all sorts of other things. And then I'm like, Bryce Dallas Howard?
It's Bryce Dallas Howard.
And like,
It's-
don't get me wrong, cool. But I also feel like we already know we're in this weird time where all these celebrities are doing voice acting for things and not doing a particularly great job of it. Yeah, I just thought that was real interesting. Is it because her father made the Solo movie like save for Lucasfilms? Like, I don't know.
It's
I don't
because
know
he's
what it
Ron
was.
fucking Howard.
Yeah.
It's
Honestly.
gonna do it.
Well, and
I
to
was
her
just like,
credit,
this
it's
is
because
quite a choice.
she has worked with Filoni.
She has, yeah,
on
and
The
she's done a
Mandalorian.
good job with her directing stuff. I did think it was kind of weird that Yaddle speaks normally. That was interesting, but like Chris said, Yoda's just a weird little fuck.
I mean, like, is she a really talented director? Yes, absolutely. And also, give me a fucking break. She wouldn't be here at all if it weren't for her father. So, come the fuck nepotism. It is everywhere.
Yeah, she's
On
definitely,
Twitter.
I've never been particularly impressed by her as an actor, but like, she's a phenomenal director on The Mandalorian. I'm so glad that they have continued to keep her, as part of it.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, she did some great episodes that very clearly had phenomenal directing.
Yes, and I believe that she's coming back for season 3 as well. And like, she is talented, but that talent came after the opportunity.
Yeah,
Like the talent did not cause the opportunity.
exactly. Like, I just want to be abundantly clear. Like, is she good at her job in terms of like what she does in Star Wars? Yes, and also, she is a white woman with a famous father.
Hashtag Nepo baby.
Ew! Don't talk, man. What the fuck?
You're not online enough. That's been a whole fucking
Yeah, Kate, do you have an issue
Twitter
with Nepo
discourse.
baby as a term?
Don't like it.
Oh, I love it. When I
Oh,
read the
it's so
article, I was
weird.
like reading out lines of it to my mom at the table because
Oh God, incredible.
if I only had a more successful family, I too could have been a Nepo baby, but I'm not. But yeah, that article was scathing and just phenomenal.
I've also just like not been very online since we bought a house because we bought
Casual.
a house. Yeah, that and they. Put
Have you
magnets-
talked about buying a house yet on the pod?
Wait,
Yeah.
did you guys buy a house?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, I thought we were
yes.
making fun of Kate there.
Oh.
I haven't have not been on the pod because
Okay.
I've been real depressed. But
Fuck you, Burb.
I don't know what people talked about.
Shit. They're almost done putting magnets on my brain though, so maybe I'll have like
Ooh.
any not brain fog, probably not, but whatever. It's fine.
Oh, I didn't think you had the brain fog in that scenario.
Well, we passed around. It's like the brain cell for orange cats.
At least you're not alone.
Hooray. All right. Real quick. Would y'all want a season 2 of this?
I could take it or leave it.
Sure.
I don't really care.
I only watched it because we said we would for the podcast. So I really don't care.
I feel
am
like
not invested.
I really liked Visions, but otherwise, a lot of the animated Star Wars content, I'm just like, not that into Bad Batch. Rebels was fun. I have no desire to rewatch it. Sorry, Kate. I know you're internally wondering if I'll ever be allowed in your house again, but like,
How dare.
a lot of the animated content for Star Wars, I did really like Visions, but the rest of it, I'm like, I'm sure a lot of people love it. I'm not going to ask for more. I'm not going to say, no, I'm mad they're making more. I just feel pure neutrality.
Yeah, Rana, I think this was your sentence in the outline where you're like, I don't really say no to new content. That's like how I feel. Like, I am usually of the opinion that more Star Wars is good Star Wars. This didn't do a lot for me. I enjoyed it, and it's kind of like Book of Boba Fett. I enjoyed it in the moment, and then I stopped thinking about it, and that was better for everyone. Like, if they do a season 2, I hope to see them think outside the box a little more, less Ahsoka of like filling in gaps of a life that we already know pretty damn well. More like Dooku, where it's writing a lot of this story for the first time that a lot of people have seen it. Like, let's see Mace Windu, for example. Let's see outside of the Clone Wars some High Republic Jedi. Like,
Yeah, at all.
those are things that I would be interested in seeing. So, yeah, I'm not going to be, hashtag make Tales of the Jedi 2 happen, but I'd watch it if it comes out.
You say that now, it's gonna be Plo Koon.
Oh no.
10 short episodes on Plo Koon.
Yeah. Jess would love that. Honestly, she loves Plo Koon.
Does Jess want to fuck Plo Koon?
No. Jess loves.
Are you sure?
Wow.
Are you sure?
Wow.
Jess loves a beautiful town. Friend of the pod. We love her so much. She's not gonna listen to this, but we're gonna tell her we're talking about her, and then she won't.
She might
She's gonna
because
be
she
like,
listened to the one where we we misattributed her question, and she
That's
was
true.
like, "You fuckers, how dare you?"
It's true.
So she may come at you with a knife when she's in town in a couple weeks.
I was gonna say we're gonna see her in a
Well,
couple
wait,
weeks.
she's
I will
flying.
ask
She'll
her.
come at you with the kitchen knife from your house.
I will ask. She'll take our own kitchen knife and come at us. I'll ask her myself if she would fuck Plo Koon. Like, I'm fine with that conversation happening.
Can you whip out your cell phone and just record that? And,
Just
we'll
like,
put the
Yeah,
shitty
we're gonna
audio
need
on the
this
pod.
live
apropos of
streamed.
nothing. Here's some bonus content for our listeners. Would you fuck Plo Koon?
I'll put it on the Instagram.
It'll be our shortest pod ever.
Most listened to. Oh god. Sorry, Jess. It's fine. God, what was I gonna say? Oh, got really distracted about this entire topic. Yes, to everything that's been said. Also, like, I don't know. I like short form animation like this specifically because like I'm the person who's like short stories don't get enough love in favor of the novel sort of thing. And this is my equivalent in this medium. So I really like this. What I think would be cool is if they made it a true anthology and every episode was different. It wasn't just like like a string of episodes about Ahsoka, a string of episodes about Dooku, but like
I would love
Really?
that idea.
That'd be really fun.
Yeah.
yeah, just like truly make it an anthology.
Agree. Or New Jedi.
Yes,
Mhm.
whatever they can do.
Star Wars new content, never.
We
Just
hate
keep
Star
New canon,
Wars.
that's what I meant. Whenever, just pretend it made sense.
And we once again hang all our hopes on the Acolyte.
Oh my god. Just keep fucking that.
That's
Clone
still
Wars
happening,
chicken.
right?
It is. It's filming.
I thought I saw
right now.
casting news recently. Yeah, okay.
All right, we got one listener question from Diana in the Tashi Station Radio Patreon Slack, which was seconded by Drew. Why does Dave hate sharing his toys with other people? What a great question.
Does he have siblings?
Unknown.
Does anybody know if he has older siblings?
I don't know.
Because like self-burn here,
I'll
but he
Google
absolutely
it.
strikes me as somebody who has older siblings.
Oh my god.
I thought I remembered hearing he had a famous brother or something. Let's
Googling this.
see.
To the Googles.
He's from Pennsylvania.
You
His
know,
father was
that's
an
why.
opera and music fan. This is not helpful for me. It doesn't say
That's
anything about how
fucking
many
why
siblings
he's like
he has.
this.
oh my god, the opera.
Yeah, and the
Nice.
Pennsylvania.
He's from Pittsburgh.
Oh,
which
fuck that.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Excuse me, it says a suburb of Pittsburgh.
That's worse.
He
Oh, he's my
yeah, he
mom's
went to
age.
the same high school as Ming-Na, I think.
yes,
Oh, that's
and same arts school as Joe Butera of Joe Butera Design.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
They didn't know each other. They were like different classes, but yeah, no, like
You're
literally.
running the same circles.
I can't find anything about oh, there's one quote, I think. Maybe. I'm not watching this video. When I Google it, there's one quote that says, Dave Filoni, you and the team are amazing. And then there's like an ellipsis, and I don't know if it's his quote continued or someone else's saying, as well as my siblings. But I don't think that's accurate.
Sounds like a very human conversation.
Dave's siblings are hats.
Yeah, probably.
I think that's the last word, honestly.
Yeah. And on that note, thank you all for listening to bonus episode 38 of the Book Wars pod. Make sure to stay healthy, continue masking, get your COVID boosters, get a flu shot, all that good stuff. Next episode, we're gonna be
Good.
Yeah, don't hold us to any timelines. I haven't recorded since August. We'll see what happens.
Next episode, we're gonna be starting Star Wars Visions Ronin by Emma Miyako Kandon. Speaking of Star Wars animation, this is the novel that continues the short from Visions by the studio Kamikaze Doga called The Duel. So definitely check that out. Read along with us. We're going to be reading through chapter 12 for next episode. Meanwhile, if you have the means, please first and foremost donate to the Book Save Lives campaign at We Need Diverse Books. Then, if you do want to support us, donate to the Tasha Station Radio Patreon. Helps cover our hosting and production costs. Please also give us coffee is another great way to support us. And really all your money, you can earmark it specifically for Argos, Jasper, Orca, or Tony. So just let us know. Put a comment in there. Our theme song is Whiz Bang by Poddington Bear. Our logo and artwork are by Dave Filoni's beloved classmate Joe Butera of Joe Butera Design. And our audio and production are done, as well as some guest analysis by our very own Kristen McDonald. Thank you so much for listening. For Kate, Rana, Miranda, Kristen, I am Chris, and we'll talk to you next time.
It's Tony's birthday this week.
Happy birthday
my
to
God,
Tony.
Or in a week and a
Birthday,
half. It's unclear.
Tony.